Question: are there some frugal habits that you can do practically with your eyes closed? I'm going to share some of mine. Back in a minute. Hi, this is Jan from New York City. My channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money. We're going to talk today about frugal habits that are like, I don't know, just part of us. So easy. Notice if you have a few, just wondering, and share them in the comments section below. Here's a couple of mine. One is I like to spend my time with like minded people who are frugal. That way, you don't feel like you're constantly defending your case to be frugal. Not that we should defend our case to be frugal, we should just live our frugal lives. But sometimes when you're in the kind of company that is, with mindless thinking and mindless spending, to me, it's just easier to spend my time, share my ideas as well. And that's another aspect of it. I get to share my ideas. I get to learn some new ideas from other people who are like minded in the frugal community. Notice that if that happens with you. Another thing that makes me feel pretty good as a frugal minded person. Now, this sounds crazy, might sound counterproductive to being frugal, but when I declutter, I feel a sense of empowerment. I'm getting rid of useless things that I no longer need that actually served its purpose. And I got my money's worth. And I also have the choice to bless someone else who actually may be in a position to need what you have finished with. And we should help other people. And this is a great way to do it. And you could also sell your goods or items that are no longer needed and increase your income. And that's totally okay. Next, bartering services. That to me is like a mindless no brainer. If I know someone, for example, that might need some cat sitting, babysitting for a cat for a day or two, they have to go somewhere on a trip. They don't like to leave the cat by themselves. I'd be totally open to watching the cat, for example, because I love cats. So I get the fun of loving the cat without committing to a cat. So for me, it works out. And that if I want, perhaps there's something that they can do or offer to do. Bartering doesn't cost a dime. Doing things that don't necessarily cost you a dime and having an exchange of services. Bartering has been around for like forever ago. Trimming your hair. Now, I know this sounds like crazy to some people. I keep my hair long and straight on purpose for little maintenance. That's my choice. All I have to do is trim off the bad ends whenever I want. But some people have to get their hair cut like really often, like every 6 to 8 weeks in order to keep their hair, in shape that they want it to. But you know what? Try to extend your visits. If you go every 6 weeks, try to push it to every 8 weeks. By doing that, you're going to cut down how much you spend per year on your hair. And that's another thing. Consider how much money you spend per year, case by case, on an item. Many times we often look at the things that we're spending immediately without looking at it as something to include in your yearly budget. More or less, you know what your income is approximately per year. More or less, give or take a few. I know things fluctuate sometimes, especially if you're a self-employed person. I do get that, but you do have an overall idea, hopefully. And also you can manage your expenses that way by calculating it. Well, what do I spend for this item per year? Is there something that I can do to make that less? It's a great way to think. It's a great way to manage. Another free habit, totally easy. Exercise. You don't have to join a gym unless you really want to, and you totally could fit that into your budget. It's not going to break the bank. But for the person that still wants to get healthy exercise, that doesn't have to cost money. You could take a walk. A walk is free, except for maybe putting out a couple of bucks on decent quality walking shoes, which I highly recommend. And for the person that is limited in their mobility, e.g. myself, I am limited in my mobility thanks to that accident years ago. So I have to work with what I have. I may have my limited type of walks, but what I like to do at home, I could stand in place and walk, and I could dance, and that I can do any day, anytime. And there are plenty of videos out there, by the way, for seniors, just mentioning on this very platform. Really, really good. Look into it. It doesn't have to cost you a dime. Just take a little minute to plan. So, therefore, exercising should not have to cost you a dime unless you choose to. Keeping a positive mental attitude. To me, this comes like, it's just like I could do that with my eyes closed. I don't want to think of the glass of water as half empty. I could choose to think of the glass of water as half full. Even under extreme circumstances, do know that it is okay, and in fact, a better plan always to consider the positive aspects of any situation that you are in life. Even when things feel, I'm not saying you're not going to feel like the circumstances aren't the worst. Oh my gosh, this feels so awful. But ask yourself, how do you respond to it? What do you do about it? What positive steps can you take to make the situation better? I look at the positive negative thing like a light switch. I can flip on the positive switch anytime I want. I could shut off the positive switch and go over to the negative switch if I want. But the question begs, why would I want on purpose to go to the negative side? I'm not saying negative things don't happen around us. Yes, they certainly absolutely do. But we need to know it is how we respond to that negative situation that counts. Were you ever in a negative situation and you refuse to cave into that negative thinking and you remain positive anyway? Do it anyway. Stay positive anyway. This is all very important. Next, the media. The media can influence us to thinking that our houses, our apartments aren't good enough. Our houses, our apartments aren't big enough over time. Years and years ago, people, I'm not saying that, I'm not advocating this in any way, shape, manner, or form, but many years ago, people were living more tightly in condensed apartments and houses, and they made do and they let it happen. It happened. But now the media has convinced even people who maybe it's just one or two people. Why do two people have to have, this is my opinion, again, Janet's opinion talking. Why would two people, in my opinion, need a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house? To me, that's too much house, and it's too much to maintain. And when you get a little bit older, maybe you don't want to maintain all that stuff. That's just me, my opinion. Let me know how you feel about it. I understand that people have adult children that come in for the holidays, and it's great to have the space. And hey, if you can do it, hey, great. But always keep in mind to not feel so badly if you happen to have just a standard 2-bath house with a smaller yard, smaller space. Don't feel badly about it because the media has convinced us to think that it has to be bigger. Bigger is better. No, not true. Bigger things in life are not necessarily better. In fact, they can be a huge burden. So these are just some little thoughts I always carry around in my frugal mindedness. And please feel free to share some of your frugal minded thoughts. I'm looking for my outro and I'll be right back. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care now. Bye-bye.